I'm Peter Veltier. I'm the owner of Mainstay Natural Foods.
Hi, I'm Susie Shetler. I've worked at Mainstay for 12 years now.
Okay, this is an area where we carry supplies for people that are making wine and beer products at home. We have pretty well everything that you need if you're using a kit product or if you're using fresh fruit to make a wine product. We have whatever you need to do that. And if we don't have it, we can get it for you. Well, lots of people have different opinions of as far as what countries make the best wines. The product that over here, most of those kits, in fact, I'd say all those kits, the concentrate comes from California. These kits, the concentrate comes from the place that it happens to say. For example, Italian Pinot Grigio, the concentrate came from Italy. German Müller Thurgau, the product came from Germany. It's the same with all these products. Wherever they say they came from, that's where they are. The Shiraz came from Australia. The juices have a nicer concentration to them. They also produce a nicer product. Yeah, we're going to make a batch of wine. Now, all these pails that you see in here have been pre-sterilized. The most important part to making wine is making sure the products or the items you use are sterilized. And we're going to start with that. We have a California Connoisseur Pinot Grigio kit. And I'm making it, even though I said I like wines from Portugal, I really like the Pinot Grigio from this particular company. Now, we're going to start with adding bentonite. Bentonite is a clay that you find throughout most of Ontario. The grey clay, same thing. In the first stages of curing, of course, there's a lot of particles and so forth in the concentrate, and it helps to settle them out. Now, what a customer would do if he's coming in to make wine, not do what I've done yet. All right, their job's going to be to add the water to the pail and add the yeast to the water or to the mix. The liquor license board wants to make sure that the customer takes some part of the making of the wine into consideration when they're doing it. All the rest of the procedures that require making the wine are done by ourselves, except when it comes time for bottling. When it comes time for bottling, the customer does it all. We'll give them a little bit of a run through, show them how it's done, but it's their responsibility to do it. Customers are making this at home. They're basically doing the same things I'm doing. We had customers a number of years ago that were making wine with distilled water. And they kept coming in saying that their wine wasn't turning out properly. We didn't know at the time they were using distilled water. And then after, I guess they'd made about 3 batches, they said, there's something wrong with the wine. And I said, well, go through what you're doing. Well, we get a batch of distilled water. There's your number one problem. You use distilled water. Don't use distilled water. You're better off to use water that's got minerals in it. It'll actually help the flavor and the taste of the wine. So that's what we figured the problem was. This is basically a batch of wine. There's nothing. Well, at this stage of the game, it's a batch of juice. I'm making this for myself, so I can legally do this. Right now, it's a batch of wine. Whereas before it was just juice. And basically we're done. It sits in a carboy in the pail for a week to 10 days. Then we transfer it into plastic carboys. I'll just show you what they look like. You're up there. So plastic carboys like this. And we use the plastic carboys. They're food grade carboys. The reason we use them is they're much lighter to handle then we don't get banged around and actually end up breaking carboys. So they're in that for approximately 2 weeks, and then from there they're transferred again into glass carboy. Once they're in the glass carboy, they are degassed, which I showed you earlier, and after they're degassed, they're put back up on a shelf, left to be able to for the sediment to settle to the bottom so that they can be filtered. There is some products that are added to the wine. That's prior to them. Well, just prior to them being degassed, we add potassium betabisulfite, and that's to stop the action of the yeast. It just kills the yeast. And then after we've done the degassing, we add potassium sorbate, and that's used as a preservative. And we also add things like clearing agents, or, well, basically we add clearing agents. So anyway, there's a batch of wine made. Quite simple. Do it at home, do it here. Either way, it's simple. Okay. This is a wine degasser. It takes about 8 hours to degas a batch of wine. And the reason, what it does, it's actually a suction pump on a line, and it sucks the gas out of the wine product. What this does, it helps the wine to clear much quicker if the gas is out of the wine. Yeah, sanitation is the key thing in regards to making wine and beer products. If it isn't sanitized, you're going to end up with vinegar or a contaminated product. Whether they're our bottles or they're customers' bottles, it does matter how they're kept. We know that the bottles here are brand new in cases that are not going to get any dirt in them. Where the concern is when customers come in with bottles and they've been keeping them in their garage with the top of the bottle upright and nothing on the top of the bottle to stop products from getting into them. It's happened a few times where customers have gone and started washing the bottles and the mouse comes out. So you really need to be really careful of how you store your bottles. Sometimes customers come in and they've got 3 cases of bottles with them in order to make their batch of wine, and by the time they finish washing them all, they have to buy 3 cases of bottles because none of them are any good. And we can't put wine in bottles that are infected. We can, but then there's the customers aren't getting wine when they get back, they're getting a contaminated product. Okay, in order to sanitize bottles, you need an item like this. And basically what it does is you put your chemical in here, you put your bottle on top, you push down like so, the chemical shoots inside the bottle, and it basically sanitizes your bottle. Then all you need to do is pour some water into the bottle, shake it up, and dump it. If you really have dirty bottles that really need to be cleaned, you take a product like this. It's called chloroclean. And you mix about 1/4 of a cup of that in a gallon jug with water in it. And you pour that into your bottles, about maybe so much, fill the rest up with hot water, leave it overnight, shake it, dump it, you should have clean bottles. And it'll save you having to buy 3 cases of bottles. Yeah, to make wine on premise, without the bottles, you're looking $130 to $145. And that just depends on the variety of wine you're getting and basically how much concentrate's in the kit. It all makes 30 bottles of wine, but they're sometimes more concentrated in some kits. To make it at home, you're looking at anywhere from $65 to $90, depending on the type of kit again. Bottles are $18 for 12 bottles. They're expensive. They're expensive because they come from Mexico and they come to Canada by truck.